And we're here. Just like that. Okay. All right. So for those of you who don't recognize my guest today, he's pretty recognizable, I think. But I'm being joined today by my good friend, Billy Hoekman, who is Vice President of Nutrition and Communication for Green Juju, which is one of our favorite brands here at Naturally Healthy Pets. Billy is involved in formulation, product development, blowing up things in his kitchen, working with farmers, science education, and sales and marketing. He's sort of the one-man show. He does everything. Although I think you now have another employee, so not quite as bad. Billy.
Yeah, we got a couple. Yeah.
Billy participates frequently in expert panels and speaks nationally and internationally in venues ranging from universities and conferences to public libraries. He also serves on the board of directors for multiple organizations. How do you find time? Attends the AFCO meetings, which is a snooze fest, and has numerous published articles. He's a trusted pet health advocate. Yeah, there you go. He's a trusted pet health advocate that specializes in turning hard to understand nutrition concepts into plain English. I can vouch for that. And he lives in Lancaster, Pennsylvania with his wife, Emily, their daughter, Maple, who's freaking adorable, and their dog, Huckleberry, who's a French bulldog. And I warned Billy, French bulldogs have a lot of issues. And funny thing is, his dog can't tolerate goat milk, of all things.
You had to bring that up. Yeah. I just think he's ungrateful. I don't even think it's a tolerance thing. I think he just doesn't want to make me happy. I think that's how he rolls. Well, I've used the opportunity to learn, proof of concept without using milk, which has been an interesting journey for me. So I try to look at the bright side.
There you go. There's a reason for everything. You just needed to learn more. So I'm really excited. Billy and Angela Ardolino and I seem to be on this traveling treadmill together. And so we are actually going to be, both of us, at the AHVMA convention in a couple of weeks out in San Diego for the holistic veterinarians. Then we'll be speaking together in Charlottesville, Virginia. And then we will be at the last of the Naturally Healthy Pets experiences. This one will be in Tinton Falls, New Jersey on October 28th, hosted by Dr. Harvey's. If you haven't bought tickets, you better get them soon, because I think this one's going to sell out pretty quickly. All right. So Billy is going to be one of the speakers at the Tinton Falls event, and he has a new presentation for that event on microbiome science and supporting the microbiome through distinctly different bacteria types. So I learn something every time I hear Billy speak. So can you give us a little teaser?
Yeah, well, it's actually interesting because the way that I kind of roll with you probably know this as someone who speaks a lot. They ask you for your presentation title like way in advance. So and it's funny because I start the year and here I am with nutrition. And then as the year goes on, I think of new things I want to do. And I think of, new angles and new, things that we're doing at Green Juju kind of inform, what I want to learn and what I want to spread out. And so it's always kind of interesting for me. So what I do is, I speak throughout the year. So sometimes, admittedly, organizers will be like, actually, I was just on one yesterday, and they're like, "We're going to announce your title," and I was like, "What's my title?" I don't remember. But it was funny because what happens is I can kind of evolve my presentation to do different things throughout the year. So like I might take a snippet from, hey, I did a whole presentation. I think the last time I was doing one on bringing the outside in.
Right.
So I can bring snippets of that, but then I can go to something different and, try to present something different. And so I'm excited about it because I think it evolves in a nice way over the year. And I think that we got some really good, I always pride myself on looking at things differently. And when I first got into learning about nutrition, and this was way back in the day when I was too poor to buy the books, so I'd go to Barnes and Noble and just open the books and, sit there Saturday and Sunday and learn as much as I could at the time. And, at that point I was like, how do I get this base knowledge? How do I understand the established knowledge that's already come out when it comes to, uh, dog and cat nutrition? But now my focus and passion really changed from like, how do I create new things? How do we take new concepts that have, you know, even no basis in, no one's thought of this before, but how do we incorporate something new into pet food and or just food for pets or people or whatever it might be? So I hope that that shows through in my presentations, that I can kind of present those in ways that, um, are different.
Well, your presentations are great because you do make it so understandable and like actionable things that people can put into play very quickly and very easily. And I think that that is a special gift when you can take something that could be a little sciency and a little complicated, and bring it down to no, this is just put this in the bowl, or mix this with this, or I mean I know you're huge on fermenting, which is why you blow up your kitchen.
Which is why my wife likes me so much. At one time she was like, "Do we really need 7 projects going in our kitchen?" And I was like, "Yes, clearly." I I think that we actually are similar in what you're talking about, because I think that what we do is, rather than taking, an overarching concept and just saying like, here's why bacteria matters, we both sort of take steps to be like, here's how you can specifically implement this thing. Because I think when people come to these sorts of events, that's what they're looking for. How does this actually going to help my animal? And if you
Right.
can loop in the overarching concept, that's great. But people need recipes. People need, hey, add this specific thing, or even, this specific brand. Or I really like to include things that are, I think, different, but at the grocery store, because it's
Right.
stuff that people can, hey, I'm already shopping. That's how I do it. I'm already shopping for myself. So why not, you know, get, you know, X, Y, and Z. So I
Yep.
think it helps.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, because I do the TCVM, the Chinese medicine food therapy, I look at a lot of the recipes that were taught to me by my instructors and when I was initially learning it. And the problem with a lot of the recipes is there are a lot of really weird ingredients. Like people say to me, "Where am I supposed to find chicken gizzards?" I'm like, "Well, I can get them in the grocery store." That's not a weird ingredient, but there's a lot of like weird herbs. And I guess if I had like an Asian or Oriental grocery market that I could go to, I could find some of these weird things, but everybody doesn't have access to that. So I
Yeah.
really try to keep things with look, you can get this in your grocery store. Yes, maybe, beef lung. Probably not going to find that in your grocery store, but you never know. I had somebody email me the other
Hmm.
day, and she was just going to the butcher and saying, "Hey, I need this," and they were bringing it in. So, we try to keep things so that it's like everybody can do this. It doesn't have to be like I used to go when we lived in Jersey. We used to go to the Italian market in Philadelphia to find some of the really weird types of proteins and really weird body parts and stuff. And I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
they have everything. You can find all kinds of weird stuff. But I'm like, not everybody has access to this. It's fun to do once in a while, but not everybody has access to that. So
Are you
I
talking about where they have like the live chickens and whatnot
no,
in Philly?
it was just the Italian. There's a whole Italian market section. It's like a whole street, and there's like hundreds of butchers along there, and they all have really odd meats
Mm.
and pieces and parts in their showcases. It's quite an interesting outing, actually. Um, and in addition to you being a presenter, Green Juju is one of our major sponsors for this event. That's cool.
Yeah, well, we love supporting education and a diverse range of um, education in general, because we don't, you know, you, me, anyone, no one owns the monopoly on what good nutrition is or good science is, or even recommendations outside of like nutrition. And so the way that I teach in these things is like, I'm just going to talk about science. And when you learn about how things work, you'll always end up back around something we're doing. And because we're using the same principles. And so I love that, someone like Angela can talk about mushrooms, which I know less about, learning more, I think, but can talk about mushrooms and CBD, which I am definitely not an expert on. So, these things, they're all sort of like, what I love about it is, people know their own dogs better than anyone. And so what they can do is they can take all these different snippets from all these different presentations, um, and work them into whatever works best for their own animal. And
Yep.
so we love supporting that, anytime we can.
So you guys have new products coming out. Did you just
We do.
did you
Hopefully,
did you launch your new proteins yet?
they're launching in October, so hopefully by the time or right after the event, they'll be out there. So we do have goat and lamb coming out, and those are very exciting for me because we didn't plan on doing those. We did it the opposite way. So we didn't say like we want to make a goat recipe. We just the sourcing reached out to us and it fit with what we wanted to do. It's really cool sourcing. It's
Awesome.
half on the goat side is half pasture raised, grass fed, farmed goat, and then the other half is wild harvested. So we're actually getting even better than that, and it shows. One of the things that with our company is you never have to take our word for it, that they're raised correctly, because we do the full fatty acid testing to show what the omega-3 to 6 ratios are, which is only possible in good farming. And so the goat is 2-to-1. So it's a
Awesome.
2-to-1 omega-6 to 3 ratio, which is our
Awesome.
lowest one. And the lamb is a 3-to-1.
Great.
And
And AFCO
so,
allows 30-to-1. So,
yeah,
and I read a study that showed that a bunch of dry kibbles that were tested contain 0 omega-3s, like 0 EPA and DHA. It's like, yeah, you're not even reaching the minimum. So your 30-to-1 doesn't even come into play. But ideally what we want is 5-to-1 or less. So if you guys are coming in at 2-to-1 and 3-to-1, that's amazing.
yeah. Well, it's funny because even and AFCO doesn't even recognize EPA and DHA as essential nutrients. So it's kind of a free for all, because you could even meet that, even if you are meeting that omega-3, you could use, say, a plant source and just get ALA and
Right.
not have any EPA or DHA in that. And that speaks, that it's funny because that recommendation of 30-to-1 is very similar to like the human American Western diet in typical cases, because we eat so much canola oil and vegetable oil.
Yep.
And on that side of things, it's pretty hard to avoid, generally. So no, but we're super excited. It's the same premise of Complete for Dogs and Cats. It's also the same premise of adding in a dark leafy green with kelp to round out the vitamin and mineral profile. But the cool thing is, in the goat, we actually made a change after we announced it, which is, instead of the dark leafy green, we're actually using parsley,
Well, that
which
still is a
is
dark leafy
going to
green.
be the fiber content. It is, yeah, but we also get the medicinal benefits of the parsley itself and the higher antioxidant content. So I think that's going to be really kind of new and different. And then we also have goat purple, which is added to our rainbow of treats, which is, oddly enough, pretty close to complete and balanced in and of itself. But that has purple cabbage, purple carrots, and blackberries. And the notable thing about that is, most of the time berries are an accent, which is fine because that's a good way to use them. However, in this, the blackberries actually make up the biggest part of the vegetation. So I think it's a cool way to increase the antioxidant content. And then the other one that we technically haven't announced, well, we announced it, but we didn't do a live around it yet. So if you're watching this, This is kind of a live for that, but also me and Kelly will be doing a live later. But so we also have a venison broth coming out that's frozen, and those are wild harvested from Hawaii, and it's nice because we now have duck, bison, and venison. So we have the cooling, neutral, and warming proteins for the
Perfect.
broths as well.
Perfect. Awesome. So you
So,
guys,
yeah,
you guys
tons of stuff.
are coming out with
I
new
was
stuff
working
like
on
every month.
it's crazy, and we have frozen coming out in the spring, so that's going to be even wilder when it comes to just the scope of how that changes like the company for the better, and the scope of our animals eating our food, because we love freeze dried food. In fact, Huckleberry eats our freeze dried food, obviously, but there's not a lot of 80-pound dogs on freeze dried food, so
Yeah,
we
it's
wanted to
pricey.
yeah, so we wanted to kind of be able to get the frozen side out there as well.
Awesome. All kinds of, we can hardly keep up. These guys are changing things so fast, but we love Green Juju products. We use them for our own animals. So can't say enough good stuff about them. And I'm thankful that there's people like you who love to research all kinds of nerdy food stuff.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, you guys sell a little bit of our products.
A little bit, a little bit. Well,
Just
everybody else loves
just
it
a tiny
too.
bit.
I mean, it's good stuff. Everyone loves it, and we can trust the sourcing and the products, so that means a lot.
Well,
All
it's
right.
nice to have, you know, people behind the products that you actually have.
Yes.
It's not just a statement, it's not just a website. It's literally just me and Kelly and whatever we want to do and think is cool, and we go ahead and do it. And it's pretty rare these days in the pet food industry. So
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, for those who can, please join us in Tinton Falls. It'll be a great day. One thing on that graphic that keeps popping up, Michelle Allen is not on that graphic. I don't know why, but Michelle Allen will also be speaking that day on palliative care for your pets. So that's a really nice add-in. So it'll be Michelle,
oh, that's
Angela,
great.
Billy, and me. And we will be having a good time. And for those who are Facebook supporters, we are having a supporters dinner. So make sure you let us know if you're coming. And Billy, have fun in California this weekend. I will not be there, but I will see you the following weekend in California.
That sounds good. Yes, if you're going to the Thriving Dog Expo, I will be there. So come say hi to me.
Exactly. And that is in Long Beach, California. It's Carrie Hyde's event, and kind of sorry to be missing it this year, but man, one more trip to the West Coast. It's a lot.
There's a lot going on for sure.
There is a lot. All right, Billy, have a wonderful day. Everyone else have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.